can't find great people. No one wants to work these days. I'm telling y'all, if you listen to that narrative, you're listening to a bunch of crap. Do not listen to the people that are saying that. There are great people out there. You just have to do the due diligence of going out and finding them. Now, the best thing to do is post the job. Post the job that you're looking for. If you haven't even done that piece, it's hard for you to come out here and tell me that you can't find great people. Your job's not even posted. And in that job description, is it detailed out to what you're expecting of that candidate? Or is it just saying, hey, we have a manager position open? Manager position that does what? So today I want to talk to you about bringing someone through the funnel of the interview process and getting it down to the perfect candidate for your organization. So this is how I go through our organization's interviewing process to make sure that I'm not bringing in a bunch of people off the streets for interview. I want to take the 80 candidates, 100 candidates that we get a week and dwindle that down to maybe 3 or 4. So I'm not wasting my time talking to a bunch of candidates about something that they might not even qualify for. So the first thing that I do is I go through all the resumes that come through our Indeed account. We post most of our stuff through Indeed. That's where a lot of the applicants come through. So from there, I'm going through and looking at all, let's say it's 100 applications. I'm going to go through 100 applications. It's usually about 80 a week, but we're going to go easy math here. So 100 applications come through. I'm going to go through every single one of those applications. And what I'm doing as I go through those applications is I'm seeing if there's relevant work experience on those resumes. Are there any gaps in employment on those resumes? And I'm looking through to make sure that it would be a right fit for the role that I'm hiring for. From those applications, I'm getting down to about maybe 20. And from there, so I've just whittled out all those applications. And now I really have to only go through 20. From that process, I send an assessment with a deadline. Now, to me, it doesn't matter what that assessment says. It's more important that the deadline is met. So I'll say, here's the assessment, click this link, have it completed within 72 hours. Now, if that 72 hours comes around and they didn't complete that assessment, I'm telling you 75% of those people fall off. So now I've got it down to about 5 or 6 people because the other 15, they couldn't go through and complete this assessment on a timely basis. And the reason why I do that is because if you can't meet a deadline prior to coming to work for me, I know you're not going to be able to meet a deadline when you work for me. So it's important to start giving them some trial and tests before you even get on the phone with them, before you even send them that first email scheduling an interview. Don't waste your time scheduling interviews and scheduling phone calls with 80 candidates if you can whittle them out by not taking an assessment. So now we're down to, say, five candidates. We schedule a call, and I don't schedule with them. I send them a calendar link to schedule with me. And that link links right to my calendar, and I've got some prereq questions on there. One is, I need your name, I need your phone, just so I'm able to contact you. Another one is, are you willing to relocate? Now, if this person is in a different state and we're based in Indiana, I need to make sure that they're willing to relocate. If they're not willing to relocate to our state to come work for us, I can't interview that person because that's one of our prerequisites. You got to live where our office is. Here's another one. Say, I ask, what's your salary expectation? Now, in the job description, we have a range. Say the salary is $60,000 to $80,000. If someone goes in there and puts $100,000, I now can weed that person out because, one, they didn't read the job description. They don't understand what we're looking for as an organization. And two, I need to make sure that they're in the ballpark. I'm not going to talk to somebody who's expecting $100,000 if I'm only going to pay 60 to 80 grand. The third piece that I go through, so now they booked a call. We schedule that call. It's 3 days from now. We get on the call and I ask 4 questions. The first question I ask is, give me a brief overview of your last 3 jobs and the impact that you've made in those 3 jobs. Now, the things that I'm looking for in this question are, 1, can they be brief? Can they give me a quick synopsis of what they did at that recent job? Or are they going to sit there for the next 2 hours on the phone with me and tell me everything about that job? Now, when I'm on this pre-screen call, I'm trying to keep it to 15 minutes. I don't want to be sitting on this call for 2-3 hours, right? I don't want to waste my time with these candidates. So give me a brief overview. The other piece of that question is, tell me the impact. Now, if they can't tell me a direct impact, a tangible impact with numbers, with KPIs, that means that they've never been held accountable to a KPI. They've never been accountable to any numbers. So we have to get the understanding of, 1, can they be brief? And 2, can they tell you what an impact means in your organization? The second question I ask is, what research have you done on our company? And this question is important because, 1, if they say, hey, you know what, I've not done any research, that tells you right now that they will not do research for you in your business Especially if they're looking for a sales role, what research are they going to do on one of your clients prior to giving them a call? They didn't even take the time to do research on your company to see what you're all about. Now, here's the other piece. If they say, yeah, I've done this research, and they start rambling about things that don't align with what your business is, now you know they're lying to you. If they're going to lie to you on the front end, my guess is they're going to lie to you on the back end. So right there's a couple of red flags. Now, the ones that really genuinely care about the job that they applied for have done the research, they know a little bit about your company, and they can tell you about your organization. The third question I ask is all about, what goals do you have? What are your professional goals? If someone doesn't have goals on that pre-screen call, how are they going to align with what your company goals are? They don't even have goals for themselves. Do you want someone on your team that's not focused on goals, growing, professional development, growth, all those things? If they're not focused on that for themselves, what makes you think that they're going to be focused on that for your business and for your business's growth? And the fourth question I ask is, what questions do you have for me or for our company? And the reason why I ask that question is because I want to see how quality their questions are. Now, I just fed them 3 questions. They could take my questions and spin them and throw them back at me. They could ask, what are your business's goals? What are you trying to accomplish over the next 5 years? They could spin those questions back towards you. But if you have a candidate that goes, okay, so what does your vacation look like? That's going to be a problem. What's your compensation look like? Well, if the compensation was posted on the job posting, they should already know the answer to that. If they're more worried about vacation now, do you think they're going to be committed to your business? So it's extremely important that you ask those 3 questions on the front end, and then you get quality questions from them, because if they're able to ask you quality questions in the pre-screen, I guarantee they're going to be able to ask quality questions while they're in your business. Once we go through all that process, we bring people in and we meet with them one-on-one. We have a second person there to eliminate any biased decisions. And then we go through an interview process that focuses a lot around strengths and weaknesses. And as weaknesses, we don't look at them as a bad thing. We take a look at weaknesses as, how do we build a strong team? Where I know I'm a very impatient person, I need people around me that have a sense of urgency. Because if they don't have a sense of urgency, and I'm just sitting there waiting for things, there's going to be a frustration level there. So you got to make sure that you're hiring to balance what your weaknesses are. Take your time in the interview process. You don't need to find people overnight. Your business will not collapse overnight because you didn't find one candidate. Hire slow, fire fast, be diligent through the interview process, and always get out there and be great, because nothing else pays.